All right, everybody, welcome into the Kareem Hunt episode 27 of the Barking Brown Show. I am your host, Jacob at Roachism13 on the Twitters, joined as always by my wonderful co-host, Mr. Nick Carnes at Carnesies817. Nick, how are we doing tonight?
I'm always excited because I never realized it's been as many episodes as it has been until you say it.
Until you, yeah.
Yeah, and so here we are, and it's officially beanie season, right? So I'm living the good life today. It's like what, 50, 47?
47 degrees.
Yeah. So we're officially in Brown's beanie season, and I could not be more excited about it.
Brown's beanie season is my favorite of the season. So I don't have one on tonight because it's a little warmer in the upstairs of my house. So I don't have that. Guys, once again, I talked a couple of housekeeping notes off the top. I talked to Restream yesterday. They said after Periscope shut down and when they switched over to Twitter, they're having issues integrating the chat software. So if you are watching on Twitter and you have questions or comments, please send us a DM Nick or I. We will try to monitor those throughout the show. Otherwise, we cannot currently see Twitter comments. I will keep remind throughout the show that the Twitter comments aren't working very well. But if you comment on the actual thread, not in the chat during the video, if you comment in the thread or you send me a DM, I will be monitoring my DMs. My DMs are not as big as Nick's, so I suggest the DMs go to me. He gets far more than I do, so I suggest that, like, I have one DM right now, so I can find your question, I promise. So welcome, guys. Welcome in. Once again, most valuable thing you can give anybody is your time. You've chosen once again to give some of your time to us this week, and we thank you very, very, very much. Nick, we have a special giveaway. Would you like to talk about the giveaway?
There's a lot of stuff actually going on. We have our first new patron in a hot minute. So a hearty, wonderful welcome to our friend Ross, yes, who is as awesome as his brisket is delicious. So, and it's awesome because like we've kept everyone that has joined us along the way, and so now we've added another one, and so we have a lot of fun in our little group chat, for all the patrons, and well, so we're getting near another shirt giveaway for that, which is separate to the new giveaway that we're doing, because we've been teasing for a long time that if we hit 225 subscribers on YouTube, that we want to do a giveaway. And so here we are. We are sitting over that now.
242 last I checked.
242. It's a beautiful day. Beautiful day. So in first part, I think it's funny the shirt you picked today, because I think that may have something to do. So I think in part we are planning on giving away a super awesome shirt of a guy named Blake right there, which is from the wonderful people
at Zabo Apparel.
Yeah, it's Zabo Apparel. I don't know why my brain.
You blanked. It's all right.
Yeah. And in combination to that, we also have if you haven't seen yet, our good friend Ross sells awesome pairs of brown socks. There's a couple different versions now, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And so on top of the a guy named Blake shirt, we are going to be giving away. I wish I had. I do have them. So just one hot second.
Nick's going to go grab the socks. So we head on over to the YouTube channel. There is a video that I posted on Sunday, which goes over that this shirt that I am currently wearing, a guy named Blake shirts from our good friends at Zabo Apparel. We will be purchasing one to give away. Ross is giving away 2 pairs of his socks. That's 3 items in this giveaway. Ooh. To enter, head over to YouTube. You can comment on the giveaway video, or if you are on Twitter, because some of the YouTube comments are disappearing on me, subscribe to you must be subscribed to the YouTube channel. Once you subscribe, take a screenshot of that, hop over to Twitter, the top of my page at Roachism13. At the top, there is a pinned tweet in which you can post your screenshot and those wonderful socks, 2 pairs of those wonderful socks, a guy named Blake t-shirt. We're giving away it all. We thank you very, very much for all the subscriptions, the likes, the comments, the 5-star reviews, all the love that you guys have shared us in these 27 weeks that we've been doing this show is so amazing. We have a wonderful, wonderful show for you guys tonight. The amazing Molly Rose is joining us. She will be here in just a second. We're going to pop her on here in a second. We're going to talk about Thursday Night Football. The Browns really fucking needed that win. They grabbed that win. It's Steelers week. Fuck the Steelers. I thought it was going to take me longer to say that, but I said it in 5 minutes. So here we are. Let's welcome her in, the amazing Molly Rose. Molly, how are you doing tonight?
Hi, I'm good. How are y'all?
Great.
I'm excited. You know what? It's already been on Twitter that just back and forth between Pittsburgh and Cleveland. There's just
it never goes away.
No.
Unified Browns Twitter. It's been very tumultuous between Browns Twitter. I mean, you've got just so many different facets of Browns Twitter the last couple of weeks, and we all were like, "Wait, I'm sorry. What, you also want to say fuck the Steelers? All right, okay."
Time to unite.
I just, you know what? I think it just feels a little different this time because, it's like in years past, you could, obviously you would still talk garbage on the Steelers and like you would say all the things that we all do, but like now there's a little more bite behind it. And I think that they know that too. And that's why it's way more exciting to me personally. Like I've been waiting for this game for a long time. So I can't wait. I do think, having Nick Chubb back and Jack Conklin back, it looks like, I think is the difference. I think the Browns will win. I feel confident. What's that? I know this is like really jumping ahead, but where is our confidence level? Are the Browns going to win?
It's starting off strong. I'm cautiously optimistic.
Okay.
I am.
7.
7. I like 7.
About a 7. That's where I'm at, and I'm sure by Sunday at 12:30 it'll be at an 11. But right now it's a 7. I'm usually a little bit more cautious and like Molly said, cautiously optimistic. That's where I'm at on a Tuesday night.
I feel like a huge difference too is not only is Baker playing or not, is a healthy Baker, is actually feeling somewhat better Baker playing.
Yeah.
Let's I've got a bunch of YouTube comments and Facebook. Once again, guys, if you're watching on Twitter, they have not fixed the chat function. Send me a DM if you've got questions for us. So I'm going to check up a little bit on some comments. Our good friend Norman, good evening, dogs. It's Steelers week. Damn straight. Ed is going on about how he needs the socks for this cold. I see what you're doing there, Dan. I know what you're doing. I know what Dan does. He's always out there with his whore mouth running it. Ed Ross, the sock boss, is a patron, and the Browns are going to win. There, boom. Let's see. Put the information in the comments. I will put the information in the comments about the giveaway after this video is done. When I go back to edit the video. Here we go. Ed's always got one. Every rose has its thorns, and Brown's Twitter is usually torn, but we're all love the Browns, so no need for
good old poetry. Nick Carson.
I love it. Nick, if you guys haven't seen Nick's poem to Joey Suryat, you need
happy birthday to Joey.
Yeah, it is his birthday.
Vote boy.
Guys, we got a little bit to talk about with Denver. So let's talk a little bit about Denver, and then we will get full blown. I can tell everybody's chomping at the bit to talk some shit about the Steelers, and that's all right. I have nothing wrong with that. We'll get to that. I have some all 22 notes I want to go over with you guys and kind of get your thoughts on my thoughts and then your thoughts on the game. So I've got 8 bullet points from watching the all 22 this weekend. It didn't look a lot different than what you saw in the camera views for anybody that hasn't seen the all 22. It was pretty well the same. I got a little bit better look. I want to talk real quick about John Johnson's pick because that was a play I watched 4 times on repeat in the all 22. And if you watch him, he kind of drops back into his zone. This is the John Johnson we thought we were going to get, guys. This was a vintage John Johnson in LA while you signed him to this contract kind of play. So there's the go route, the deep route that Teddy ends up throwing to that's picked off. And there was a deep in cut underneath of John Johnson. So you kind of see him go up, and John Johnson, he's floating back a little bit. You see him take a couple steps forward like he's going to go to that down route. And once he starts to go to the guy in front of him, you see Teddy kind of look like he's loading up to throw it. John Johnson sees it perfectly. He baits him. He flips his hips in an instant, and he just flies back to the ball and picks it off. It was one of the most veteran-savvy interceptions that I have seen, and I loved it. So that was my first note. Like, I wrote a really big note about that. So without JOK on Thursday, they really struggled against the screen game, dump offs, and swing passes. Like, there was a point on that 17-play drive where literally all Denver was doing was snapping it, turning it, and throwing it out wide to somebody that was at or behind the line of scrimmage. And without JOK, I'm not saying he's the only one who does it, but JOK has such a good feel for those types of plays with his closing speed and his sideline to sideline and his high football IQ that they really missed him. Do you guys want to know why that field goal was blocked?
I would love to know.
Andrew Billings got his ass destroyed on that play. Like, you would have thought it was me trying to block Shelby Harris. It was like, listen, I talked up Andrew Billings this offseason, and we've been very critical of him since the season started because he's struggled so mightily. Man, Andrew Billings, I have not seen a guy get destroyed like that since the last time I was at a Golden Corral. So, like, I don't know. That was a bad joke. I'm sorry. I wrote this down, and then I had to tweet about it because it was so fiery about this. Wyatt Teller should be arrested for assault. What that man did in the run game on Saturday,
I love it.
Finishes his run game grade was a 91.6. Like, and also his wife retweeted my tweet about him, which means he might have seen my tweet, and that's like, I'm like a little child thinking about that. So anyway, he was just mauling people. Like, if you were like, you get a guard, you have a young guard, you draft a guard, and you're like, how do we teach this guy how to play the run? How do we teach this guy how to play against the run? You put on that tape of Wyatt Teller on Thursday night because he was phenomenal. All right. The run defense is awesome. Guys just fly to the ball. That's my note. That is my note. There's poor tackling at the second level this week. That 17-yard drive, man, like just tackle after missed tackle after missed tackle. And there's still miscommunications or bad reads. There was a bad read in the I think it was the 30-yard completion maybe that was like a really great pass and a one-hander by Sutton where 3 guys go to the same guy. The underneath route. All 3 of them go to the same route. 3 guys on the underneath route. Yeah. All that said, Dearness Johnson is really, 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 really good. I like him a lot. Those are my all 22 notes. So, guys, off the top, thoughts about Thursday night.
Dearness Johnson is the only part of that game in Wyatt Teller that I really want to remember. I feel like it was one of those. We needed that win and we got the win, but it wasn't pretty to watch, especially if you look at the numbers that Denver has put up, like against.
Yeah. I was getting nervous there for a hot minute. When they came out at halftime and they make it they go like down the field and I'm like, because the defense was I thought was pretty good, in the first half, and then it's like, okay, here we go, we're like falling apart here in the second half. Oh God, what's gonna happen? And it's like, I mean, there's so many parts of the game, but I think it's like you said, we knew it wasn't going to be pretty.
No,
but you had to have it, right?
Yeah.
And so they got it, and now here we sit, and it's like if you and you know what, there was a lot of mixed feelings about the Bengals beating the Ravens, but I think that the fact that the AFC North lead being at 5 wins rather than 6, if the Ravens had won, is super. I think it's way better for the Browns because potentially, I mean, I think the Bengals play the Jets, which I mean sucks. But if you win, if you beat the Steelers this week, you're still 1 game out, right?
Yeah.
It's
you're still 1 game out on your way to Paul Brown Stadium next weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but watching how they played against the Ravens and thinking about how we've played against, but I mean, we were a depleted team. I don't think it was like watching almost a preseason game. Like I was making jokes about that because
I think we all were
players out.
You know what? I know it wasn't pretty, but I think this is probably the first game that I've seen this year where it was like clear that like everyone, like the whole Broncos team knows that the Browns are running. Right, like to end the game, and it just like, and I think that, yeah, I just like the signature of that game to me was when the Browns get a first down to end the game, and then they call, I think, holding or false start. I'm not sure what it was.
Legal formation, I think.
Illegal for whatever stupid penalty they get called on them, and then they're just like, okay, well, we'll just get 5 more yards, and they get the first down and again anyway, and it was just like the Broncos were not stopping them on Thursday. They just weren't. And it was so good to see.
I think it says a lot about how deep our bench is though. Like there's how many teams in the NFL could have 2 starting running backs out and then still run the ball down their throats.
Not many.
It's offensive line too.
Yeah. And they end up finishing with 182 yards rushing and 5.5 yards a carry, the Browns do, with, like you said, the first running back out, the second running back out. Mm-hmm. You're on your you're on your, what would be your 4th tackle at right tackle, and our boy, a guy named Blake out there, played very well, actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
He did.
Very well. And Dearness Johnson, man, like, and he's been making his raise. And if you guys haven't heard, he was on Locked On Browns on Monday or Sunday night. He was on there with Jeff Lloyd. Dearness Johnson was, and it's really fun to hear him talk. And you can just, he's making all it. He's taking advantage of every bit of this, and the man should. He should.
So somebody said that it was really cool because since the Browns were on Thursday, it was like Dearness Johnson was like the talk of like next day's sports.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's like, he basically got like a whole spotlight to himself. And I'm so happy for him.
Me too.
To see him earn that. I just, because it's like we make jokes like Dearness Johnson's better than Najee Harris and all that stuff. And then it just like to see him just come in and just dominate like that. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen this week, but I'll tell you what. If he's good again, the jokes will be endless, and I can't wait.
I can tell you that the best part of that Denver game was me thinking Nick is going to tweet about Dearness Johnson being better than Najee Harris.
I haven't
thinking about that.
I haven't gone super in depth yet, but the week is long. We have so much more to do because it's like on both sides. It's heating up. I'm having so much fun with it. It just feels like we can like really talk again. And it's like we talked before anyway. I know I already said that, but it's like I feel so much more excited now and invigorated. There's nothing that warms your heart quite like a Ben Roethlisberger crying meme.
No, there isn't. No, there isn't. Hey, our friend, I want to catch up real quick on the comments, and then I got a couple of feelings. I knew Ed was going to make a wiener joke, so I guess we'll just go ahead and get it out of the way. National TV and the Browns couldn't feature their Chubb. Luckily, they have a nice backup, Johnson, who balled out. I see what you're doing there, Ed. That was Mitch over on Facebook. It feels like Landry had a strong return and Hooper played better than usual. I gave Hooper some credit on Friday because I've given Hooper a lot of hell on this show.
And Njoku's been a lot bigger throughout the season, but last week for sure.
Yeah. Njoku, though, interestingly enough, still had the best amongst tight ends run blocking grade. Check out my Twitter in the morning. Maybe you'll see some things about tight ends. It was National Tight End Day.
National Tight End Day, yeah.
Yeah. I love National Tight End Day. I'm not going to say why. you could feel the energy when 80 caught that first ball. Like, I know he only goes for what, like 5 and 35 or whatever it was. And you know, and there was the drop, the catch that maybe was a catch, maybe it wasn't a catch. I don't know. But you could tell he was still kind of working his way back in a little bit. But Jarvis is like an extension. Like, I want to talk about Jarvis.
The Browns.
What is it?
Like Jarvis is an extension of the Browns.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say an extension of like the run game, because like Jarvis lives in this like he will hit, like he'll take 140 yards to the house. It's usually yards after the catch because he's so shifty and he's got those moves. But to me, Jarvis always reminds you about a guy that like he's going to live in those 7 to 15 yard gains.
Yeah.
Like,
he tends to be like the safe option, like when other things fall apart that still get you to downs.
If you're like, hey, I need 6, I'm going to throw it to Jarvis for 7. You're like, okay, he's got the first down, 7 yards. And then he like squirts away and makes it 20 yards or something like that. And you're like, whoa.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, you're like, oh my God, that's really cool. Like, you did a really good job there. And, you know, but like.
Sounded like a father talking to their kid. Yeah, good job, Jarvis.
You should have heard me last week. I got really upset about Baker. I was talking about Baker and the struggles in Arizona. And I got told that I was, at the team as a whole, that I was parents scalding their children. And it was actually 100% factual and right on point. That is exactly what I was doing. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't hear that until then. But no, like Jarvis is that guy where you're like, oh yeah, hey, look, there's Juice, first down. They're like, holy shit. Like, what is going on there? So like, I think that I know that I've talked about Pete Smith's point of view from the contract and some things like that. And I love Pete. I really do. I think he's a very smart guy. I think he never hated Jarvis. He hates the contract. And I get that. That's fine. But you could feel, and I know they were still very limited offensive line. No, they didn't have Chubb. They didn't have Hunt. There were still some things. OBJ was not near 100%. That dude was gutting it the hell out. It is different when 80's on the field.
Mm-hmm. I think too, it was so important, you know, that they got him back because, you know, Donovan Peoples-Jones gets hurt before the game.
Yeah.
Right. And so then you know, they're targeting Odell and obviously he's struggling. I'm so thankful that he caught those 2 passes like later in the game, because good Lord,
I had a heart attack when he limped off a little bit.
Yeah.
I was like, no.
You're right.
If we win, it's going to feel like a loss, but thank God it was just like he probably was tight, cramp or something.
I was glad. You know what? I know it was just 2 catches, but like the one was a long one when the Browns, they were both on the drive when it became a 1-possession game and like the Browns had to go down and score. Otherwise, it's just like, oh God, I'm terrified, you know, of what's going to happen.
I feel like it was also a sense of like Baker's gone, but like at least you got Jarvis back this week. Like, at least there's some normalcy, some comfort level.
And he was operating exactly where he normally does. Like it just felt like that is really, really nice that to have Jarvis back out there. Norman, I see your comment about is Jarvis practicing. He practiced Monday. There was no practice today.
Yeah, practice on Tuesday.
Yeah, I think it's the whole NFL, right? They're all like a day off on Tuesday. And he came back. And I know some people said that he came back and was in the game after the injury, and I couldn't confirm it. I went back when I watched the All-22. If you watch Dearness Johnson's second final run after the play gets called back and then he rushes for a first down, the first person to greet him is Jarvis Landry. So Jarvis did return to the game after
he did.
Yeah. So I wasn't sure about it until I watched the All-22 and I ended up seeing him there. Norman, I really like his comment here earlier. Cerberus lives in the Browns backfield. I have not heard that one. That one's really nice. I like that. Ken here brings up a great point. Says you're 1 game out and you're about to have the tiebreaker against the Bengals next week. How about that?
I would love that. You know what? The one, so I mean, obviously Dearness Johnson was great. Case Keenum fills in really well. Having Jarvis back is nice. But and you guys alluded to the defense a little bit. It's so like Jekyll and Hyde, and I can never figure out if they're gonna play.
Yeah.
It's like Myles Garrett's leading the league in sacks. Jadeveon Clowney's playing really well, and then for whatever reason, it's just like suddenly then they go right down the field and score, and I'm just like trying to figure out. I still cannot make heads or tails of what the Browns defense is. I don't know.
Against the run, I can make tales of that. They're very good against the run. What is the stat? John Costco put it out sometime, and I think it's changed. I think it changed a little bit. So I know going into last week they were first, like they were the number one first down and second down defense. I think they're second now, but they're like the second best on first and second down, and then they're 32nd on third down.
I think they're second in yards allowed.
Is that what it is?
Per game.
Okay.
I don't. How is it? How are they so good like early and then they just completely fall apart?
It's always like 3rd and 7. It's never like 3rd and 1 where you're like, oh yeah, they're going to
get it. Third down, and then it's like, like it's just like it's like a tease. It's like, oh yeah, and then they get to third down. It's like. What happened the way you played the last 3? I will say Myles Garrett would be leading in sacks by about, I don't know, twice as much if they called penalties.
We're gonna I was wondering when we were gonna get there.
I've been on this hill for 2 years and people have just now started to join. Like it feels like people are just now also starting to talk about it because I can go back and find tweets from 2 years ago talking about this. And, oh my God, it's becoming like it's outrageous at this point. When you look back and look at like the stills of literally this.
Yeah.
Like it's insane. It's like he can't even play his damn position. And I understand there are a lot of that happens with great defensive ends. They are more lenient, but the level of leniency is like TJ Watt will get like TJ Watt, it happens to him too, but it is it's another level.
Yeah.
It's scary. No, it's insane.
I know.
NFL's had it out for him since Helmet Gate.
It honestly makes you wonder,
like
right? Because it's so obvious to like you said, you see the pictures and you're just like, how is this guy not getting called? And I think
Steelers fans say, "Oh, that happens to TJ Watt too." Where are the pictures? I'm not seeing them. I'm not seeing the outrageous.
Not anywhere like the Browns. And I'm hoping at some point it changes, right? You can only draw attention to it for so long before eventually something has to give, right?
It's insane.
Yeah.
We'll drug test him though. Every week.
You know what I like though? I like that Myles Garrett is speaking, like he's actually talking for himself.
And he's a quiet person. He's not a loud OBJ, like he doesn't talk the talk until he walks. Like he's very humble for the level of talent that he has. And I feel like this is the first year he's even said anything about it.
You would not
as far as I can remember, it is.
You would definitely not know the way he talks that he's leading the league in sacks. Like he just doesn't. I love that about him.
Me too.
So I hope that finally, enough happens that especially because this Browns Steelers game is at home, right? Yeah, I mean, not that it helped against the Broncos, I guess, but it's so frustrating to watch because
it's like, can you imagine if a QB that was really good, like they somehow made calls to placate him being good?
Well,
Tom Brady, let's take 10 yards off of that because it's Tom Brady. Like you completely placate his position and his like capabilities.
Yeah.
It actually like in Norman down here in the comments says he's being shacked by the refs.
Yeah, that's what you said. Yeah.
Well, but you want to know what I also draw this comparison. I heard I think it was Stephen Thomas and Jake Burns talking about it on the OBR about Cam Newton. Do you remember Cam Newton when it comes to no calls? You remember how Cam Newton, like especially in Carolina, he never got a roughing the passer call because he was Cam Newton. And they'd be like, oh, well,
he's He's Cam Newton.
Yeah, it's like he hit him in the head. Or
the Patrick Mahomes gets to like a
it's Cam Newton. And it's like, well, Cam looked fine after the hit. It's like, but then no.
Make it.
He doesn't.
You shouldn't have to dramatize to get the call.
Right. You don't get teed off on because you don't get teed off on because you're Myles Garrett and you're bigger and freakier than anybody else. Mm-hmm. Like you don't get to be cheap shotted because you're Cam Newton. Like it's ludicrous and this is something that I think is a bigger problem than we're even talking about. The officiating across the league this year has been horrible.
Yeah, it's not just the Browns.
It's true. Did you see the roughing the passer call on?
Yes, that was even worse than the Malik McDowell one.
So bad.
Even worse. And the Malik McDowell one was pretty ridiculous. Yeah. The quarterback tripped over him. Like he was already on the ground. And again? I forget who they called them.
I'm not sure who they actually called it on. But
it was Malik Jackson because he got pushed. Malik Jackson got pushed into Kyler Murray.
Yeah, and then he like fell over him.
Yeah, and he fell over McDowell. Yeah, and they were like, "Oh, you know what, Kyler? Did you see the other one on Kyler where Kyler like the guy's running straight for Kyler and Kyler ducks down, and so when he goes to tackle around his midsection, he ends up whacking him on the head, and they call roughing the passer. Like I quote tweeted it last night. Well, actually, it was the one I quote tweeted last night was the Geno Smith one. But the Kyler Murray, and I said I just don't understand football anymore. Yeah. I thought I did. I just don't touch him. I said, who would want to play defense right now?
At this point,
the league is going, like, who wants to do it?
I just, on a high note, I think just leaving the Broncos game, it's like, I think you can say, Case Keenum, I thought there were some people trying to say that Case Keenum sucked. He does not, right? Like people just forget that he's ever been successful in his career.
No, he doesn't suck, but like that offense isn't going to be enough against the Steelers defense.
I get what you're saying because I think the biggest thing to me is obviously Case doesn't have the arm strength that Baker does. And so,
but neither does Baker when he's hurting.
Yeah. And so that's kind of the problem you're with. But I do
catch 22 there.
Yeah, I do think though, like maybe if you say, okay, Nick Chubb's not playing and Jack Conklin's not playing, that then you have big worries against the Steelers. But I think with the Browns' offensive line fully back, and then you've got Chubb and Dearness Johnson. Yeah. I still think that the Browns can. I mean, Alex Collins, who has bounced around the league for forever, put up 101 yards against the Steelers defense, right? And Steelers with Geno Smith, took them to overtime in their house. And I think I would definitely take the Browns offensive line, the Browns running game. And you could make the argument Geno Smith or Case Keenum or however you feel about that. I don't know. But I just think, it's like Chubb has repeatedly killed Pittsburgh. And I think when you have the offensive line playing like they did against Denver and imposing their will, I feel I'm inclined to be confident, regardless of who the quarterback is.
I'm not worried about Pittsburgh outscoring. I'm not worried about Pittsburgh's offense. Like, to be quite frank.
We have reached the portion of the show where we transition to fuck Steelers week. I've got 3 in there so far. I'm trying to go for 7, but I don't want it to be distasteful. Yeah. They have to be appropriate and well-timed. So I'm working on it. This is what I said about Case. This is what I'll say about Case. We don't know what's going to happen on Sunday. I'm not going to speculate on who is going to play quarterback, who should play quarterback.
Yeah, it's throwing to the wall. I mean, hopefully, like Baker feels good enough, but like it's throwing it. Oh, I'm a doctor. Like I think because it's this, he's gonna play, and like so many tweets like that. It's like you don't know. Like we don't. Please just stop.
Please stop. Like it's like I can't take. And, like, I get it. Like, I even said it when it first happened. I was like, well, yeah, I've had a messed up labrum before. Like, I was one of those. I said it initially because when they said, like, this was before we knew it was a full torn. This is before we knew about the broken bone.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, man. I was like, it's when people were trying to say, well, it's his non-throwing shoulder, it wouldn't affect it. I was like, have you ever had a labrum injury? It's like it affects your entire body just to move. So I was like, yeah, he's absolutely playing for some pain, but like there's some people that are like, oh yeah, like no, he's being a pussy. That thing will heal up in 2 weeks. Like, what are you talking? He's got a fully separated shoulder. Like the bone it's ripped. The bone
his arm is barely hanging on.
Yeah, well, he's even said it. He's like, my shoulder pops in and out unexpectedly.
Yeah.
What? Your shoulder pops in and out.
Zombie Baker for Halloween.
Zombie Baker, as Breeze Little Man would say, Zombie Cow Baker. That is his favorite character. It is one of those things where it's like, can we just please? Baker's hurt. Baker has an injury. We've heard real doctors weigh in on it. Can we stop getting advice from people that wear pajamas to Walmart? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not trying to be an asshole about it. I am. We're not fucking doctors. We're not fucking doctors. Can we stop?
All I know is that like we said, the Browns had to have that victory. We knew it would be close. They got it. Case, I thought Case ended up, he was fine. It was fine. And you know what? I think you can still ride that. Maybe not against the Bengals. The Bengals look really good. But I think against Pittsburgh, you can still just ride your run game, and you can get that victory. But I want to, as we transition here into Pittsburgh, I think it's relevant both against the defense, both against the Broncos and now the Steelers. It's like, so we were saying initially heading into the season that we knew the defense was going to take long to gel, and obviously they've had injuries and stuff has derailed them. But so here we are. We're entering week 8, right? Yeah, we're entering week 8, and so the defense is still kind of Jekyll and Hyde. And so I just want to, I'm not sure what to think. Like, do we think that the defense can dramatically improve from here, or is this kind of going to be, the defense we live with all season? Because I'm starting to wonder as we get towards the midpoint here, like what the outlook is.
Well, I think it's a little bit of a. I think it's a little bit of a. Let's see if I can find my thing. I got 2 screens up so that I can bring up some stats off to the left-hand side, and it's set up as though my extra monitor is on the right, but it's actually on the left. So sometimes I mess with my it messes with my thing. Ed says that he is not at Walmart. It is a Target, and they are Browns pajamas. So,
Well, I can approve of the Browns pajamas.
I can approve. I approve of Target. There's just not any Targets around here. Okay, so I'll try to answer your defensive question in the best way I know how, because I've gotten this comment and I've gotten into these conversations with several different people on Twitter when it comes to the Jekyll and Hyde-ness of the defense. Yeah. And they're like, our good friend Mr. Jiggles, who I've called Mr. Jingles this entire time, and it's Jiggles, and I'm like embarrassed by that. I
always thought it was Jingles too.
It's Jiggles. True life. We figured that out the other day. Our good friend, me and him have conversations in the DMs all the time. He's a really good dude. And he was asking me, he said, Jacob, try to explain this to me. Try to explain this Jekyll and Hyde-ness of the defense. And I was like, bro, I can't. Here's my thing. The run defense is really good. It is really good. Mm. We know that. That is clear. It is good. It is. I don't know where it ranks. I'm not sure where it ranks overall defensively wise, but it's really good. The pass defense comes down to a couple of things. I told everybody to, give Joe Woods some time to let these guys gel. I'm starting to get a little upset because you finally blitzed against Arizona. You blitzed 13 times. That was a season high. We talked about this. But you decided to play soft man coverage behind it, leaving these easy throws with guys that
have ass.
Yes. And you've got these fast receivers where Yak is where they make their money, like Jarvis Landry. These guys that catch those 5-yard routes and make them into 20s. Like, these are the guys, like, that is the heart and soul, the catalyst of the offense in Cleveland is 80 when it comes to the pass offense.
Yeah.
For that reason, you've got guys who there was poor tackling for the last 3 weeks. There have been really poor tackling. How are you going to play soft man coverage and expect guys to make open field tackles when they're not making open field tackles? Like, you get up close. You have man corners. You have 4 man corners. Denzel Ward, Greg Newsome, Greedy Williams. I know Greedy is Greedy is like a very good mirror corner. And even Troy Hill, I think, is a better man corner than anything else. You've got these guys. You are sending pressure. You have an amazing pass rush rate. I talked about this with Jadeveon Clowney and Myles Garrett had 11 pressures by themselves last Thursday against Denver. Mm-hmm. And you're playing these – God, you have these corners that thrive in mirror. These like the ability, the fluidness of the hips of Greg Newsome is just stupid. He's probably a salsa dancer in his spare time in his Crocs. And I don't understand the scheme based on the personnel, especially we talked about John Johnson. John Johnson belongs in the box. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not a true deep safety, and you continue to make him a true safety.
They moved Johnson this past.
Yeah, that was nice to see.
They moved Johnson to the spot that he played in
LA.
LA, which you see people have been bitching about him, and I'm like, he's not playing where he's supposed to be playing. It makes a huge difference. People act like that doesn't make a ginormous difference.
You want to see a case in point of that? Look at Larry O. Instead of playing Larry Ogunjobi as a nose tackle, Cincinnati has allowed him to be a true interior presence. We played him at nose. He's not a nose. He is ripping it the fuck up in Cincinnati. He is having a case in point of a guy not being used well and going to be used well. Joe, listen, buddy, I have defended you on Twitter. I've defended you on the show.
You can't keep sticking my neck out for you.
To play soft man coverage behind one of the better pressuring defensive lines in football, then I hope you see the door.
Okay, so like looking forward to Pittsburgh, it's like their whole mantra is getting the ball out about quickly because their offensive line sucks and Ben can't move and extend plays.
Can't stand up for more than 5 seconds. Can't stand up.
Who made that joke?
So it's like
Walker.
You can't give Ben like soft, stupid throws. You can't do that.
Because he can be accurate.
So, and it's like I want like that's the frustrating part is we know that the Browns have talent in the secondary, in the linebacker core, and up front, and it's like only the front 4 is really being allowed to shine because the scheme it makes I feel like we're back. It's like when Freddie Kitchens was here, we're like, hey, we have Nick Chubb, run the ball, and now it's like, hey, we got this question. Stop giving them these easy. It's so frustrating.
Yeah.
So please.
Feels underutilized.
It's like we've seen them play man coverage. Like we've seen it. We have seen the Browns play man coverage, and you're like, wow, that is really nice. Like there was a couple of Well, what game was it? Maybe it was Minnesota where there was a few third downs where they blitzed and played man coverage, and it was a punt. It was a punt.
Yeah.
And I got on Twitter and I was like, was that a fucking blitz? And did it work?
Yeah.
I'm trying to bring up the Browns. I can't get it brought up quick enough. Their man coverage. The Browns coverage grade overall is a 70. But their tackling grade is a 63. So you're telling me the team is struggling a little bit in tackling. So that tells me that maybe we shouldn't create all this open field and these harder tackles to be made. Because also, by the way, can we talk about the fact that the Browns have a 90.4 special teams grade? Because they have been really good on special teams, including a guy that takes a lot of hell from me and Mac Wilson. Good for Mac Wilson. He has found a role on this team.
Hey,
he had a game.
Whatever it needs to be. I thought that might have been his best game as a Brown, or close to. So there's good things too. I don't know. I would, you know what? If
you worry about those because you're about to go into a run.
Yeah.
Bengals, Bengals, Pats. You got the
Mhm.
Lions, but then the Ravens, Raiders, Packers. Like
those are all good teams,
they're
except for the
all-
Lions,
except for the Lions.
and they're playing everyone close.
Good. Yeah.
I'm just saying the Lions are playing everyone close. Like I know they don't have a win, right? But they're still right there with it. They were just there with the Rams. They were leading. I think they were up 10-0. And so it's like all of these games are very challenging, and it's like
worry
regardless
about the stretch.
Yeah, regardless of what happens with Baker, it's like if the Browns defense could play, we know they have the talent. So it's like if you could scheme and use it to play up to their potential, I think regardless of Baker or Case, you could be in all of these games. And so I'm hoping, very similar to the offense last year, that the defense.
I think Case versus a healthy Baker or a well-performing Baker holds us back. I do.
So
wait, I'm sorry, I'm
like having Case instead of
yeah. No,
the Baker that we saw at the end of last season.
Oh, if you had that Baker,
you're living the good life.
Or even like 3/4 of that Baker.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
If you could definitively give me LA Chargers Baker, which was a Baker that performed well with the injury, like that is a good performance with the injury. I'll take that. Yeah. Like I vehemently said that
the Ravens Chargers score still hurts my brain.
The 40, yeah.
Did
you I understand, like you can't compare game to game. It's about, but that score hurts my brain, especially after the Bengals game.
Did you?
No, so confused.
There was 247-42 games ever in the NFL. Two games ever to end 47-42, and the Browns lost both of them.
That hurts.
They both happened the last 2 years. Last year's Monday Night Football against the Ravens was the other one.
Wow.
It's a thing that happened. So I've said it. I'm worried about Baker's long-term health because I'm not a doctor, and all of this scares me. So I see that Molly, we've got you. You're clear as day.
I'm back. Okay, you froze on me. I just was able to hear you again.
Okay. I'm worried about, like, I'm not a doctor, so like I'm afraid of what the long-term effects could be for Baker, and the gun shy. I don't want to go back into quarterback hell in me says shut it down. Like that's what the
long term.
That's the long-term move. Because I think Case is good enough. If
he got the job done against Denver, but
no, this is the big.
Is he for that Bengals team we just saw?
Okay, if the defense is consistent, he is enough, and that is a massive if, if, because we saw a 2-game stretch where they let up over 80 points. I think you can get pressure on Joe Burrow if you don't play soft coverage.
Yeah.
Like if you're the Browns, I'm talking strictly about the Browns and their standpoint, to where you can keep that score down. Like I think your defense is better than Baltimore. I'll say it. And mainly because Baltimore's is incredibly banged up. Like I think Case is good enough. Now, if you can tell me that Chargers Baker is what I'm going to get, I want that. I want that a million times over. I just keep seeing. I was there. You were there, Molly. We know we talked to you before. We were at that Cardinals game. All three of us were there. I can't see that again. I can't see him laying on the field like that again.
No,
I can't. And what I'm the most worried about when it comes to that is phantom pressure and this increased pressure on his offensive line that isn't healthy. And because if you're not perfect and Baker gets hit, is he going to get back up? And that terrifies me.
From my limited understanding, because again, I'm not going to make a diagnosis. I'm not going to be a doctor. It's there's one negative and like one positive thing. One negative is like a torn labrum isn't something that like gets better with rest. And that's kind of the scary-ish kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, is his pain management and ability, because it is in his throwing shoulder, could be much better. But it's not something that's going to heal because he rested for 14 days or however many days. But at the same time, unless he gets injured in another way because of his pain management not being good enough, it's not something that could, I don't know, it would be hard for it to be aggravated any more than it could. And it is. Without his arm falling off. And again, I'm not a doctor, so like that's from my limited understanding. Limited.
At least though, when you say that,
other doctors talking about it.
Right. At least you're like, hey, I'm not a doctor, but this is what I think. Whereas everybody else is like, listen to me.
He needs surgery now, or he needs to play now. It doesn't matter. Yeah, no.
I'm like, it's whatever. All right. Ed says the run defense is good because the Browns have the best running back. Yeah, you know, that's actually an interesting fact that they do get to go up against like guys like Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, you know, people like that. This is funny. Ed brings up that is it just me, but when I see Walker, my mind thinks, what the hell is Phil Dawson doing as a linebacker? It messes with me, man. We are halfway into the season and I'm like, what the fuck? What is going on there? Mitch is taking some shots at old Ben Roethlisberger, and I love it. I love it, Mitch. I love it. This is well, okay. If Baker doesn't play on Halloween, will he still be passing out nachos to trick or treat? Yes. Yes. No matter what, Baker will be passing out nachos to trick or treaters. I'm going to go with Ed's comment because he wants to echo what Molly said. Remember, Case balled out in a dome and his weak arm in Cleveland scares me. It's a Colt McCoy noodle arm. I get all of that. Yeah. I really, really do. And I'm here to say I've been critical of Baker the last couple of weeks. I understand that. Well, really the last week because he didn't play last week. But you know, the Cardinals game. I was very critical about some things I saw. And so people went after me on Twitter because when I said he had a bad game, which he did, 3 turnovers is a terrible game. People apparently thought that meant I blamed the entire loss on Baker. I never did that. Baker didn't let up 37 points. I didn't do any of that. But they were a Hail Mary away from only scoring 7 points. So let's not act like that was a good performance.
No, it wasn't.
We were there. Nick was very angry. He was yelling at me. We all got through this last week. Okay.
Yeah, we did.
If you can give me a consistent Baker who trusts his line and trusts his receivers. Case trusted his receivers on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
He trusted guys to make plays. What is it?
It was really nice to see. You know, like there, he just throws it. Lets it go.
He was confident and he was decisive. If I can get that Baker back, which he didn't just disappear. I know he's there. If I can get, I want Baker out there more than I want Case. I don't want people to misunderstand that. I just worry that Baker may potentially need to shut it down. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. So if the doctors say, yeah, no, he's good, he'll be all right. It's his body. If him and his family think it's fine and they want to let him go out there, I will hold my breath every single play because I still think he's the franchise quarterback. I'm still pretty sure you're going to pay him. I believe in AB, who clearly, based on the reports, still believe in Baker Mayfield. So Nick, Case Keenum, Baker Mayfield, they're healthy. There is no question. Healthy, there is no question.
Yeah.
But where are you at with I've weighed in and Molly's weighed in kind of on the Case and the Baker situation. We have a comment from our friend Mike that we'll get to on Twitter in just a second. But the Case, the Baker, the injury, the phantom pressure, the trusting his receivers, where are you at?
With Case, I still feel like the Browns can win this game against the Steelers. So I'm fine. I'm fine with him, having himself a good 2 bye weeks and hopefully getting right if that's the plan. I think that makes sense to me. I think the Browns can win the game
if it helps. If it can.
Yeah, if it can.
Yes.
I think the more we talk about all of these things and the more I think about it, I think that just in general, where the Browns go just depends on if the defense can play up to the talent that they have.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if Dearness Johnson is torching you, like the Browns are gonna get theirs offensively with whatever running back they throw in there. And I just think the line is starting to, like, finally you're gonna have them all back again. And I think that is gonna be your strength. You're just gonna ride that like they did last year. And I'm fine with that. And I think you just, like, you're not getting the Myles Garrett strip sacks this year, which, I mean, those are so hard to get. I can't blame Myles. He's already leading the league in sacks. But
Because he's holding.
yeah. So it's like you have to, the secondary has to, you have so many strong players in the secondary, and they just need to look like it. I think that's the difference to me. If they can start, because I mean, yes, Myles
it takes pressure off of what Case has to be if he's the guy. Yeah. So much off of him.
I know, and you're right. And so I just think if the secondary, and you know what, Jadeveon Clowney, by the way, is amazing and awesome, and everyone owes him an apology because they said he was washed up. He is not. Cool. And I just think if the secondary can just give them time to work, they will get there, right? And so I think, to me, yeah, no, I'm fine. I'm fine with if Case plays. I'm still confident. I just hope Joe Woods figures it out.
Are you confident this week or all upcoming weeks?
Definitely this week. I'm not sure about the Bengals because they're definitely a different level of team than the Steelers are. But I'm trying to.
That's where I'm at. I think against the Steelers, probably. Against the Bengals, against the Ravens.
Yeah. I still feel like, you know what? It's like the Ravens lost another.
I feel like he played it. I mean, he should have, and it got the job done. But I don't know if it's because of the noodle arm jokes that everyone's been making, or like just playing it very safe.
I just think,
that's the game manager joke that people make about Baker.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a game manager. Yeah, I'm not arguing that.
That's why he's a backup.
Yeah.
I still think that, you know what? So, like, the Ravens lost another offensive lineman. I don't know for how long on Sunday. And it's like Joe Burrow, despite the fact that Joe Burrow's playing amazing, he's still getting beat up. Like, I think you still,
offensive line still isn't amazing.
Yeah. And so you still can get to both of those quarterbacks. And so I just, yeah.
They smacked Lamar 5 times. Is that right?
I'm not sure how many, but, you know, both of them.
It's like a bad Madden game.
Yeah. And that was
that game took such a, like, I was watching that game, I was like, man, this game, like, because Nick messaged me in like the first quarter of that Baltimore Cincy game, was like, oh, this is like old school AFC North, like slobber knocker defense. And then all of a sudden
it's just goodbye.
Came off, and Burrow and Jamar Chase were just like bet. And it got.
Yeah. So, and you know what, again, he gets rid of the ball really fast too. So please, I wonder what the precedent is. Okay. So let's say, for example, like we're talking about the defense. If the defense keeps struggling and we're like 4 weeks from now, then what do you, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we have no precedent for, you know, what Stefanski will do if Joe Woods keeps struggling. I really wonder about that.
That's an interesting point, because I kind of talked about this a little bit on Twitter, because I had the question too of like, do you think Joe Woods gets canned during the season? And I'm like, Stefanski doesn't strike me as the guy that would can someone during the season.
Yeah. I think he's brought steady. Like, he doesn't want to look like less steady.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
The revolving door.
Well, and you're trying to change that. You're trying to change that, you know, I don't know, stereotype or that mantra about the Browns. And, you know, you're trying to bring stability to this organization, and for a year and a half you really have. And I know that's such a short window. Like, I don't think, like, I could see a situation, and I don't think it would be public. I mean, eventually it probably would. I could see a situation like with Kerry Combs at Ohio State. They took play calling from him, and he's a hell of a coach. I think Joe Woods is a great DB coach. I'm not sure about his play calling, Maybe he's a fine coordinator. Maybe someone else starts calling the defensive plays. I don't
Seems to
know
lack
that means.
adjustments.
What
It
is
seems
it?
to lack. It seems to lack like proper adjustments because they'll come out for a while, and like we said, like get the third down, and then it's like, what?
And it's the same thing every third down. It feels like all of the third downs that go bad, it's like, oh, they did the same thing. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what he will do, but I can guarantee that Stefanski is not the guy that if this continues, if this Jekyll and Hyde, which I think is the best way to put it, if that continues, I do not think that he does nothing.
Okay. I think I just, you know what? The thing that I needed to see against Denver and the thing that sticks out to me is just that the Browns finally imposed their will on an opponent, right? I don't think we've seen them really do that all year. You could say maybe against Kansas City that they did, and then Nick Chubb fumbled, and so the game kind of got away from you, and everything changed there. But this was like the first time that I've seen, and it was reminiscent of the last time the Browns pulled out orange pants against Week 2 in the Bengals when they're just not stopping you and running wise. And I know the Steelers defense isn't the same as the Broncos, but I just think it was a good reminder that of the fact that the Browns can and will just push you around. And that's going to be the strength that they lean on. And so the fact that the offensive line is going to be back and they have that ability gives me way more confidence than I had previously. Because even if the defense sucks, they can dominate time of possession.
We're going to get into that, but we have to let Molly go. Molly has to get to some very important things, a la dinner, which is always very, very important. So, Molly, thank you so very much for having me. Let everybody know where they can find you.
I'll see you in Muni.
If you don't follow Molly on Twitter, you definitely should. She brings all kinds of fun stuff all the time. And you know what? I'm really glad. Without Twitter, we wouldn't be sitting here right now and all be friends. So
I wouldn't know what the gin bucket was.
Oh, it's true.
Tell the people after I leave.
Okay. We've already told him.
Bye.
All right, Molly, you have a great night.
Bye.
See ya. She's really awesome. She's one of my favorites. Absolutely. All right, Nick, let's get into time of possession, man. That's where you were before we had to let Molly go.
It's my favorite thing. God.
You want to hear this? The Denver Broncos had 23 minutes and 9 seconds of time of possession on Thursday. The Cleveland Browns had 36 minutes and 51 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
That is over a quarter worth more. That is 16 minutes.
Oh, God.
16 minutes and 42 seconds.
Pour it in. I'm drinking it up. Kool-Aid, drinking it, loving it.
If you dictate the pace of the game, and you wear down the defense, this is what Nick Chubb. I've said this on Twitter. Nick Chubb is the best closer, right? He is the best closer in the league because a tired defense against a not so tired Nick Chubb because of Kareem Hunt. And I think Dearness Johnson gets more carries this weekend and probably somewhere to 8 to 12 range, I think is probably where he is. When you got a Nick Chubb that enters like the fourth quarter with 14, that's a sweet spot, I think. If Nick Chubb's got about 14 or 15 carries as he goes into the fourth quarter and he's able to take 7, 8, 9, 10 carries with him in the fourth quarter, if you're going into the fourth quarter and the Browns have already been on the field for 30 plus minutes, which is like close to what they're in the fourth quarter. If it is the final drive, there's 4 minutes left. You got to get that ball back, and the Browns have been on the field for 32 minutes already, and you still got to face Nick Chubb, who's only had 17 carries. Guys, you need to dictate it. I said it today that we got to make the Steelers one-dimensional. They don't run the ball particularly well. We stop the run. Clamp down on that. Shut it the hell down. And go for the kill shot, man. Like the Steelers, like we enjoyed their 3-game losing streak. It was fun. But they won their last 2 and they had their bye week. anybody that thinks that you're going to walk into this and blow them out of the water is just wrong. And as long as Mike Tomlin's there, I will always have reservations about playing the Steelers. He's a good coach. I'm super, super excited though to play them this weekend.
I am too.
I think that Jack Conklin's going to be back. I think another 10 days for Jed Wills after he just gutted out a performance on Sunday. On Thursday. And I'm just really, really excited to get Halloween fired up and to play the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I just think, as I tweeted about it today, last year to get into the playoffs, Nick Chubb had the longest Browns touchdown run against Pittsburgh since Jim Brown. And then in the playoffs, Nick Chubb takes that screen and ices the playoff game. And I think that he's repeatedly killed them. And I have no reason to think, last year he returned from injury and sealed the victory against the Texans, right? And I have no reason to think he won't this time. And like I said, all I needed to see was the Browns getting back to that. Like, we are just going to push you around. We don't care if we know that you're running or if you know that we're running. We're just going to do it anyway. And they were just great at it. They were so good at it.
We said it last week, right? I don't care how ugly it looks. I don't care how the hell you get it done. Get it done.
Mm-hmm.
Get to 4-3. Get your little mini bye 10 days off and focus on the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's what you did, man.
Yeah.
Some people told me it wasn't an ugly whatever. Shut up. It was ugly. It was ugly.
We knew it was going to be, though. Who expected it not to be? Like who's like, oh, well, the Browns injury report is literally a mile long. I'm sure this will go well. They won the game. That's so important.
And what people forget is that they only practiced really one day, and Baker Mayfield took all the first team reps, not Case Keenum.
That's good.
And you're out there even if Case takes all of those reps, it was one day of practice. And it was, and Norman weighs in, says it was beautiful. It is. It's beautiful. It was a beautiful win. Do you realize how much different the trajectory of this season is if we're 3-4 right now?
Oh God. Oh God. I'd just be sitting here wanting to bang my head against the wall.
It was as must win of a game as a week 7 game can be. And I hate must win because I think you need to win all of them. I hate using the phrase must win, but it really felt like that was the most appropriate word for it.
Well, some people miss this, right? And I haven't actually used this in a tweet, but it's relevant for this week. The AFC North is the only division in football without a losing record, right? So your whole division is right there. There's in other divisions, there's room for error. There is no room. There's no room for it here, right? So people are like, oh, it's week 7. How is it a must win? And blah, 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 blah. And it's like, because the rest of your division is literally playing at worst well, right? Like, say whatever you want about the Steelers.
A 3-3 team.
Yeah, so you're not playing in the NFC East. You're not playing in the AFC South. Or just these divisions that have at least one or two like real, or the NFC North. Oh boy, the Bears just get embarrassed regularly. The Lions still don't have a win. What are the Vikings? I don't even know. It's like the Packers.
The Vikings are all right.
What's that?
The Vikings are 3-3.
Okay, I guess they're weird. They're an enigma.
It's a really weird team.
Yeah, they're very weird. But it's like the Packers are just cruising, right? And like so it's like the Browns can't do that. And so here we are, and they won. And so now you're at a point. Thank God the offensive line is going to be back. I'm so excited. I was doing a little dance, and Jack Conklin and Nick Chubb were back.
I just said that when I saw that Nick Chubb and Jack Conklin were back at practice on Monday, I was like, I shed a tear. It's like I shed a tear.
I don't blame you. My friend whose name is also Nick, is a large Nick Chubb fan, and whenever he does something great, we talk about it. And so I meant to tell him the People's Republic of Tato is going to be very happy, and I think I think Cleveland is going to be. I don't know. I know Molly had her reservations, but I just think the Browns can dominate the game on the ground, and that'll be enough.
Molly, like, I really respect Molly's opinion because it comes from legitimacy. I completely understand what she is going with, and she's right. Like, there's no, like, you can't listen to what Molly said tonight and be like, no, that's stupid. Like, I mean, you can if you're a hater, but like, the fact of the matter is she said, we can beat Pittsburgh, but you got to be ready for for Cincinnati. You have got to be ready for Cincinnati in 2 weeks. Like, but this is one thing I love about Kevin Stefanski. Old regimes would be like, man, we got Cincinnati in 2 weeks. No. Steelers are in front of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got a chance. Listen, guys, we have talked a whole fucking mess of shit this offseason. And if we don't win on Sunday,
what does it matter?
Listen, our mouths, Nick and I's mouths, have wrote a lot of checks that we're not sure our ass can cash.
Oh, it can cash it. It's cashing it. Browns are winning.
We need to make it 3 in a row.
We do. Yeah, I mean, the Browns can lose, obviously, but you know what? Yes, we need to make it 3 in a row because, oh, God. And that's the thing. Everyone and their mom is talking about, oh, my God, Baltimore's so good. Cincinnati's so good. How are we ever going to beat them? And it's like, dude, you have Pittsburgh right in front of you. Why are we talking about Baltimore and Cincinnati?
Focus on the task at hand. Mm-hmm. Play your game and win, baby. Just win. That's all that matters. Guys, we are going to have an amazing preview episode. We are back after 2-week hiatus of the preview episodes. Our good friend Jim over at Bet the Spread, who was on the show preseason with I'm sorry, I got caught up because Ed's dad correct me if I'm wrong, Ed's dad is a Steelers fan. Is this
I believe Ed's
I'm
dad.
pretty sure Ed has told us that his dad is a Steelers fan, and he said he called his dad, said fuck the Steelers, and hung up. Ed, salute you, my friend.
Ed, you make me so happy.
So Jim, who was on our Steelers preview episode during the pregame, he is joining us. If you are subscribed to the Patreon, you will receive that special episode Thursday morning. Sometimes I actually put it up Wednesday night. If you are not, you will get it on Friday morning. We will be previewing the Pittsburgh Steelers. We will be back with our picks. We haven't made picks in a couple of weeks. We will be back with the picks. Jim is going to get in on those picks. He's going to make some NFL picks with us. So catch that preview episode out later this week. Wherever you're listening, we thank you for giving us your time yet again. We are so grateful for all the listens. For the first time and back-to-back weeks, our last 2 podcasts have hit 2,000 listens apiece. That is the first time that consecutive shows have done that. We are beyond ecstatic for all the support and the love that you guys have given us. So if you guys could keep telling our friends, like, comment, subscribe, tell us that we're fucking where we were stupid tonight. That's all right. Because it's weird. It's a little weird to do the show this long after the game because some of the rigor has died down. Because normally we do it like 2 days after. So it's like, we're like fucking, especially that last week because we were there and we were mad, man. We rolled into Tuesday just like freaking just steam rolling out of our head. We were pissed. But thanks, guys. We're so eternally grateful. Please check out the preview episode later this week. Nick, what do you got for us?
I'm excited that we can give back to everyone and, do a guy named Blake giveaway. And, Ross, Mr. Schreiber, you are wonderful. And we're going to give away the socks with Ross. If you don't know Ross, you probably soon will because he's great. Been quite a connection maker. But anyway, it's just, I'm so glad that we can do that. And so thank you all for just, slowly but surely it's you know what? I think I'm going to take it up. And Dearness Johnson says it's a slow grind. And I think It's a slow grind. But, Dearness Johnson's thriving. We're thriving. Life is good. The Browns won. I think they're going to win. I know I popped it right off to start the show. I think they're going to win. And I'm going to pick them. And I'm telling you, spoiler alert, preview episode, I'm picking them. And that's what I'm doing. So I don't know where you're at, Jacob, but I don't care. I care about where you're at, but I'm just saying, my opinion will not be
Unleash the chub.
What's that?
Unleash the chub.
Unleash the chub. It's going to be great. I'm so excited. Chubb's. You know what? That's the best part is that Nick Chubb being back. Nick Chubb's special, and he's going to make a difference, and it's going to be a beautiful thing to see.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Speaking of Nick Chubb, this has been the Kareem Hunt episode, right? So Chubb playing in his stead. Can't wait. Episode 27. I don't know where the time's going. I love you guys. I love you, Jacob.
Love you.
Thank you, Molly, for joining us. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I can't wait until we can finally see all the comments again. I miss you guys. I miss you.
Yes. We're so sorry. Hopefully, Restream gets it fixed.
This is bullshit. That's my first swear of the show. This is bullshit, and I want my comments. I miss. Can I
get a fuck the Steelers?
I'm not there yet, but I'll get there.
Oh, come on. Come on.
I gotta. You know what? It's a slow build. A slow build.
Well, is anybody in that apartment? Could anybody over there give me a fuck the Steelers?
Oh, what do you think, Avita? What do you think? No.
Oh, she said no.
She's not there yet, and that's okay.
She's not there yet either. I understand.
You can look for it on Tuesday, right? Because I'm just gonna so slow. Right now, I'm just sticking the knife in, right? Okay. And so we're gonna slowly twist. Tomorrow, I got some fun stuff.
Pull it out, put it back in.
Yeah. And so
that's when it hurts, by the way. It doesn't really hurt to get stabbed. It's when it gets twisted, pulled out, and put back in. That's what hurts.
Good to know. Good to know. So we're gonna get there, but we're not there yet. So I'm so excited to be back and doing this with you, and it's been too long, and we're off a win. I'm not there yet. So I will. Don't worry. I promise.
I did. Ed Steelers from Columbus. I heard it.
All right. You know what, Ed? You called your dad. You said fuck the Steelers. I say fuck the Steelers. I hate them. My cousin's a Steelers fan, and I am going to call him and talk so much shit. I can't wait. And I'm like, oh, that sucks. You cried just like Ben Roethlisberger. Yeah, it sucks for you. Yeah, there you are. Your season's in shambles. You're going home. You're terrible. Everything about it is terrible. 3 in a row. Terrible. Bad. Pittsburgh sucks. You have no future plan. Ben Roethlisberger is old. You spent a first-round pick on Najee Harris. How's that going? Shitty, right? Because you're 3-3 and your offense is the worst in the NFL. How does it feel? Pretty terrible. I would imagine so. But you can talk yourself into your 6 rings or whatever shit that it was that you had. You have a Hall of Fame quarterback. You had Antonio Brown, who will probably be a Hall of Famer too. And you had Le'Veon Bell all in their primes. And what did you win? What did you win with all that squad douche? Right? What have the Pittsburgh Steelers done in the last decade? The highlight of the last decade of Steelers football is being 11-0, declaring themselves Super Bowl contenders, Super Bowl bound, right? Chase Claypool saying losing, never heard of her. And then your whole season falls apart to I don't even know his name because he is irrelevant in the Bengals. Juju Smith-Schuster goes
Ryan
airborne.
Finley.
What is his name?
Ryan Finley.
Ryan Finley. Your season falls apart to Ryan Finley, and then everyone and their mom is like, the Browns will never beat the Steelers. Oh God, I can't remember his name either. I'm getting worked up. There's some idiot on Twitter, some large idiot who said the Browns were never going to beat the Steelers, and I can't remember his name right now. He's a big Steelers person, but anyway, it doesn't matter. What? Carlos Dunlap. Yeah, that guy.
Colin Dunlap.
Colin, not Carlos. Carlos is a Seahawk.
Yeah, a former Steeler or a former Bengal.
Bengal. Yeah. But anyway, I don't know. I guess that was just waiting. But anyway,
we didn't know that was there. I knew I could get it out of there.
Yeah. Well, they suck. They have no future, and they're clinging to the present, which is also non-existent when Nick Chubb also kills them again for the 3rd time in a row.
I hope Jim's not listening to this before he dies.
I hope he is. You know what? There was you got me going. I can't help it. So there was a new tourism video, where some Steelers is making fun of Cleveland, right? And it really pissed me off. And
I haven't watched it.
Yeah. By the way, fuck that guy. I'm gonna tell him. You know why? Because earlier this week asked me if I would come and talk some Browns Steelers with them tomorrow. So I'm gonna go on there and I'm gonna be like, I hate you and your video's stupid. And the last cool thing you did was like when you didn't even know what football was. And so this dude's probably like 20 something, and I'm just like, man, that was, young Steelers fans, they have not seen all that much success. You could argue that young Browns fans have seen more success than young Steelers.
I don't think you can.
I think you can argue it, right? What's the pinnacle? The pinnacle is some stupid wild card win over the Dolphins. You got what, like 40 bajillion points put on you by Blake Bortles in your house, and then you let Baker Mayfield come in your house and do the same thing? Like what are your I mean, I don't know. Like, if you really think about it, what the last 10 years of Steelers football has been, like, it's just them clinging to wins that they've had in yesteryear. Because I never got to even finish my point. You have Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, and Ben Roethlisberger, who's going to the Hall of Fame. I'll admit that. You even you said, Mike Tomlin, I respect the hell out of him. Well, his Mr. Defensive coach, his defense has been shit for a decade. Oh, now they have TJ Watt. Whoa, good for them. Good for them. TJ Watt's a great player. The defense finally, when it really counted, when they really needed it, right? When they have all the offensive talent, they didn't do anything. Their defense was Swiss cheese. Blake Bortles. I mean, come on. You not only did you lose to the Browns, which no one said that would happen, you let Blake Bortles do that to you. I mean, good Lord. I want to get a Blake Bortles jersey. I'm gonna put it up, and I'm like, Blake Bortles, Ooh, man, that's embarrassing.
And on that note,
I'm just saying. I mean, you just woo right down the drain. And so that is why, right? And so in the culmination of all of this, when you think about all of these things, the Steelers are so desperately clinging to the present because they have no plan, right? And so when the Browns win and they go to 3-4, and the rest of the division has 5 or more wins, that's when they say everything is terrible. Let's start talking draft. And I'm here for it. I'm here for some good Steelers draft talk. Can't wait. Anyway, this has been a good episode. So, again, this is the Kareem Hunt episode. Nick Chubb's coming back. Everything is great. Jack Conklin's coming back. I can't wait to be even more excited. They're not losing. I've talked myself into it. They're not losing, and I don't care who's the quarterback. I don't care. They're not losing. And if they do lose, oh boy. But they won't. So it's fine. It's fine. I don't even need to think about that. Who needs to think about it? Nobody needs to think about the Browns losing because they're not losing. So anyway, I'm Nick. He's Jacob. He's awesome, by the way. Go Browns.